Hey everyone, this is Max at Max CTCG. Thanks for joining me in another video. So what we're going to be doing is going over Fire King combos for the deck, part of like going through this whole like taking the structure deck and seeing different ways you can go about playing it, from a beginning structure deck to the new like powerful Snake Eyes version. We're going to go over different combos. We'll start with Ponix, move into other engines that you can cover like Dogmatica and Tri-Brigade. And then we'll also move into the Snake Eye deck, where that's where the combos vary the most. I have quite a few combos here we can go over. So it took a bit just to kind of... Alright, so what we'll do now is go into the Tri-Brigade version of the deck. So I want to be able to show a few basic Tri-Brigade combos. Depending on your hands, you might have to go that route. But there are ways with the Tri-Brigade deck that you can actually branch into the Fire King, and you can also make the Fire King branch into the Tri-Brigade. And depending on the hands, some cards will play into more disruptions. The nice thing with, the Nadir Servant combo and the Ponix combos is they don't summon more than 5 times, so you don't play into Nibiru, but they do both heavily play into Droll. And that's going to be still a similar issue with the Tri-Brigade cards as well. But depending on which combos you're pulling out, you might play into more cards. Start with the basic Fraktall combo. So with this combo, you do need quite a few discards and cards to shuffle back. So I'm showing with the full 5-card hand of just hand traps. We're going to activate Fraktall. Fraktall sends Kit. Kit triggers Engrave to send Nerval. Nerval will trigger to search. We're just searching for another Kit. Now we're going to normal summon Kit and use her effect once summoned onto the field. So let her banish from Grave. Banishing 2. And then we are going to be able to use the Bear Bloom's effect. That'll let us discard 2. Target one of your banished level 4 lower beast warriors or winged beasts. Special summon it. When it comes to banishing, I like to keep usually 1 in Grave I haven't used and 1 in Banished I haven't used. So in this case, we already used Kit, but I can bring back Nerval, or I can summon the Fraktall. Now, this is a pretty big weak point to the deck, because all this is something you have to do is kind of, a requirement or cost, because it's before the semicolon. So if they were to imperm you here, you do lose a lot of advantage. This can be kind of risky because you just gave up multiple hand traps that you could have used to stop your opponent instead of trying to extend out. So that's one thing to keep in mind with going this route. This will let you get Nerval to the field, and then you can link all those off for an Appaloosa. And the nice thing is if you do get to this point, because you have Appaloosa on the field, it'll have 3 negates, and then you could also stop your opponent from hand trapping you off the Bear Broom's Grave effect. So that's sent to the grave. You add 1 Tri-Brigade spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and then place 1 on the model of the deck. So this will let you place, and you'll end up with 1 in hand. So with 5 cards, you have to spend 4 cards to be able to set up this play, but this will give you a Revolt, which can summon Omen. That's a non-targeting banish. When summoned, you'll have 3 negates off the Appaloosa. If you can use all 3, you'll probably only use maybe 1 to 2 total before maybe they can run it over. But you can also use Omen to stop them from attacking over. You have 1 card in hand, so ideally hopefully a hand trap or something to kind of stop. And then also when Omen summons the monsters, you can end up summoning cards like the Nerval, which can then, when sent to grave, search you another follow-up card. You can use that to search another Fraktall or another Kit. So that's pretty nice with this combo. So if you want to, stop at this point here, because you don't want to discard all your hand traps, because these are cards you can use multiple in a turn, you could link off either into a link 3 if we have a good link 3 to go into. What you could end up doing is just linking into a Bear Sheet. This can also trigger a special summon if you have another Beast Warrior in hand, which can allow you to play without needing to use the discard, and it'll get the Omen to go to the Bear Room to go to the grave to search the Revolt. Now they could hand trap you on the search, but it would leave you with a Revolt and 2-3 other cards to use as well to interrupt your opponent. So this is going to be another combo to show a slightly better version of the board if you have a Tri-Brigade Fraktall and a Tri-Types, a 2-card combo. We'll discard Fraktall, Fraktall send Kit, Kit send Nerval, Nerval searches Kit. We'll do the same thing, banish 2, summon Bear Broom. Bear Broom's going to use its discard effect again, so very similar as before. You're discarding your Tri-Type as one of your extra cards, because this will give you 2 to use for another play. This will send Nerval. Nerval will banish, summon the double Dragon Lords, and then if we count the summons, there's 1 for Nerval, 1 for Bear Broom, or 2 for Bear Broom, 3 for the summon back of the Nerval, and then Nerval is able to summon the Ancient Dragon Lords. and that will give you your 4th summon, and then your 5th summon is Appaloosa. So this will safely play through a Nibiru. So that's one thing that's nice. You can negate that to stop them from doing that, and then you'll be able to use Bear Broom, search the Revolt, put one back, and then same situation, use you for Revolt and Appaloosa, but now you have an extra interruption with the double Dragon Lords as a link 2 you can go into from using your Tri-Brigade cards, and then you'll have another card in hand. In this case, we would set Imperm, but that'll be your extra card to use. Alright, so this next combo, I want to show a little bit of the synergy with the Tri-Brigade cards, because one of the weaknesses that the Tri-Brigade cards have is they're pretty reliant on their normal summon going through, and their only real special summon is Kiraz to discard a Tri-type. So one thing that's nice with the Fire King cards is similar to what we talked about with Ponix, you can destroy it to dodge interruption that targets. You can also do the same thing with Kirin. So just wanted to show the same idea with a similar hand. One Fraktall and one Kirin, so you have the Tri-type discard. Now if we were playing through, we'd use our Fraktall. Fraktall will send Kit, Kit will send Nerval, and then Nerval will get your Kit. In this case, you go normal summon Kit, activate its effect. If they have a card like Imperm to try to stop you, because if this goes through, you really don't have much of a play. What you can do is use the Kirin that will destroy the Kit. So remove it from the field, the Imperm won't have a target, and the Kit can still go off to summon. So Kit can summon the Bear Broom. You could still use the discard to discard 2, bring back a card, link into Appaloosa, get the Bear Broom to get Revolt, and you still have pretty much the same field, except you had to give up the extra card you had in hand, but that lets you play through an interruption. Just wanted to show that it's just a synergy for anyone that's newer to the decks, that you can actually use the Fire King cards to complement the Tri-Brigade cards by letting the effects of like Fraktall and Kit go through, since they're fire monsters. So that can be a really nice benefit for the deck as well. Alright, so next we'll be looking at a 2-card combo with Ponix and a Tri-type. Alright, so this combo is going to be starting with Ponix and then any Tri-type to discard. This is nice because this combo actually lets you go from the Fire King cards into the Tri-Brigade cards, and you'll be able to do this under 5 summons to play around Nibiru. It's important. There we just have identical hands here. So Ponix will be able to search the Sanctuary, Sanctuary searches Island. Island will destroy the Ponix on the field. That will let us search the Garunix, and then the Garunix will trigger in hand. Summon itself, trigger to destroy from deck. Now the nice thing is in this deck you can also destroy Kit, and then Kit can trigger from deck to send everything else. So it's very similar to sending Kit off of Fraktall in this position. So it's another nice synergy that the Tri-Brigade cards have with the Fire King cards. So Kit will send Nerval, Nerval will search Kiraz. Now because you used your normal summon with this deck, you have to utilize the fact that you can discard to summon. Kiraz will discard the extra Ponix, summon itself, banish 2 from grave to summon Bear Broom. This is your 4th summon here. And then you will link those away. That will let you then use Bear Broom's effect in grave to search Revolt. Any of the 3 material Appaloosa to stop any hand traps at this point outside of Imperm. You can set your Revolt and you have 2 cards in hand. So this actually gives you a way to the Appaloosa and the Revolt, while still keeping 2 cards in hand for interruption, hopefully with hand trap. Alright, so for this combo, it's a slight variation from the previous one. It's a lot greedier of a combo. You have a much stronger board if it works out, but it's going to eat into a lot more hand traps. So to start off this combo, you'll be leading with the Fire King line, so send Ponix. That will get you the Sanctuary, and then you'll be able to get to Island. Then you'll destroy the Ponix, which will be follow-up. You'll get Garunix. Garunix will summon. You'll destroy Kit. Kit will send. Nerval. Nerval will search Kiraz. Kiraz will summon. And this is where the combo is going to vary variance from the previous combo. The last one we banished 2 to get Bear Broom. With this one, we're actually banished 4. We're going to banish 4, so let us get Omen. And now we can link off to Fair Sheet with the Omen and the Kiraz, so let you get a search off the Omen, which is important in this type of hand unless you already have an extender. So get you your Fraktall. Then you'll be able to use the Ferrigite to special summon the Fraktall out. Now this is your 5th summon, so you can get nibbed here, and you really don't have any recovery at this point outside of ideally hand traps in your hand to kind of stop your opponent, and you'll have no disruption. So this gets a little bit greedy by playing into nib. From here, you can use Fraktall to banish. This will get you your bear broom now. Now what you can do is link away those two, the Fraktall and the Grunix, so let us summon IP. Now we can link the Fire Sheet and the bear broom into an Appaloosa. So at this point, you're pretty safe, but there's lots of points to get hit before this. You also run into issues of being able to be stopped on the Fire Sheet to special summon from hand. That will let you get your extender out. If they stop the Omen and you don't have an extender to summon off the Fire Sheet, that can hurt. So there's definitely some choke points in here depending on your hand and how you're sequencing that you can get shut down pretty quickly. So now you can do a chain block, which is nice. So what we're doing is we're chain blocking the bear broom search by activating the Fire Sheet first. And one thing we're trying to dig for in this combo is Kirin. This will give us even more board presence. I want to show you how this combo can carry out. The nice thing about this combo is when it comes to Fire Sheet, if you already have Kirin in hand as one of your cards, you pretty much have the complete combo at this point. But the nice thing is that the way this combo works is you actually get 2 chances to dig with Fire Sheet, which is nice because Fire Sheet was properly summoned. So now we will search the Revolt and put 1 back. We have the Revolt on field. We have a leftover hand trap and the Kirin we searched. So with the Fire Sheet, we had to put back a card to keep the Kirin, and then with the bear broom, we had to put back a card to keep the Revolt. So we had to kind of cycle our hand to an extent. So now we can go to the opponent's turn to show how this board plays out. So what we're doing is just kind of triggering out all of our interruptions so you can see how the board plays. This is actually the correct way to do this. It'll work out okay, but there could be better ways to sequence your interruptions. I just mostly want to show all the inboard pieces that the deck can have. So we'll go for the Revolt. So nice thing with this Revolt is the Nerval will get you follow-up when it's sent to the grave, but the Fire Sheet can also be another way to try to dig for Kirin for more interruption on the opponent's turn, which is nice. So now we'll have our triggers, so we can chain block. So we'll banish the Ponix, which is nice because at least they can't get it for follow-up, which can hurt. We'll get our search, which is Kit for follow-up, and then we did our draw and we didn't need anything, so we just put back the card we drew to the deck. So now they're going to continue playing. They're going to activate Sanctuary. I'm going to use IP to link into Unicorn. Now in this situation, you can go about this a couple of different ways. The nice thing with Unicorn is we do have the discard fodder still because we can search follow-up. So you can get rid of the follow-up play, or you could get rid of the hand trap depending on what you're focusing on right now. The nice thing now is that Kirin is also live with the kit, so that's pretty nice. And you could shuffle back the island back into the deck, so unless they have a second one in hand, they won't be able to use it. And because we did this on the chain of the Sanctuary, they're not going to get a chance to actually use the island, because in terms of our chain links resolving, the IP is going to summon, the Sanctuary will place the Fire King Island face up, and then on a new chain, our Unicorn will trigger. That'll allow us to discard. In this case, we're discarding the follow-up. And then what we also get to do is, because of the fact that we have, we sent the Omen as a link material for the IP, we get to actually search the Arvada because we have 4 banishes. So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're using the Revolt. With this combo, we have to keep 4 banishes. We'll search the Arvada, which is important for our Kirin play to destroy the Arvada. So what we'll do now is send that back. Our opponent will then trigger Kirin. We are now going to trigger our Kirin. Now this will trigger multiple effects. So we can trigger the Arvada to summon and the Grunix. So the Arvada is summoning the Ponix. The Grunix is summoning itself. The Ponix is negated, but the Grunix will now trigger to send, and we can send our Kirin. What this does is it actually lets us non-targeting get back the Arvada that we actually sent with our Kirin, and then we can non-targeting destroy the Sanctuary. And then at this point, we still have a negate with the Arvada if they were to try to activate any monster effects. We also have the Kirin and the Grunix if we want to try to link into the Exceed if they special summon. And the nice thing too is right now none of our monsters are actually bigger than the Kirin, so they can't actually ram their Kirin into any of our monsters to destroy it, to potentially try to trigger and get other summons if they had monsters in the graveyard to summon off of it. So that's one thing that's important to kind of keep track of. As you were to summon these, they might be able to force other plays out through a mistake. And we also have a lot of cards that they might want to destroy. They can stop the Exceed by getting rid of Kirin or the Grunix. They'll probably want to keep Grunix on the field so it doesn't trigger in later turns. We can get rid of the Appaloosa by attacking over it. We still have a monster negate for Vada. So this gives you a pretty strong board that is quite a bit of plays that you can utilize. But again, it does play into a lot of hand traps to make this board, so it's pretty risky, especially in what seems to be a pretty heavy hand trap format. Alright, so in this combo, it's going to be a 2-card Tri-Brigade combo that leads to the Fire King engine, but we're going to have a just slightly different end board. So I'm going to start with using Fraktall. I'm going to do the same thing as normal, Kit into Nerval, and then Nerval is going to search Kirin. Kirin is going to discard the Fraktall to summon itself. I'm going to make a Banish 4 to make Omen. Omen's going to link into the Bear Broom with Kirin. Omen's going to be able to search. We're going to go for Ponix. Ponix is going to summon. We'll do the Fire King line of Sanctuary into Island. And then we are going to destroy Ponix, search Garunix. Garunix will summon. Garunix will destroy Barong. We're going to use the Bear Broom to discard 2 to get our Nerval back. I'm going to banish 2, because remember, neither of these were properly summoned. And we'll link into the SP using the Nerval and the Garunix that'll be in the zone connecting to the Farajit. Then we can link those away into the Appaloosa. So this gives you a little bit of a different line, giving you an IP line. Then from here, we will trigger. So we can just use this mostly the chain block, or try to draw into other cards if there's something we want to get. So we use the Farajit to chain block the Bear Broom search. Then we'll get the Revolt, put back our last card. And now we have the Sanctuary, the Revolt, Arena, and Appaloosa. And then on the standby phase, we'll get our searches, triggers from the Fire Kings in the grave. So we'll be able to search Kirin off the Barong, and then we'll be able to also add the Ponix back to hand. So now we also have a Fire King line to blow up the board. You know, we can end up going into IP Masquerena. If we have SP, it'd be a little better for the issue of having a discard. But you can also circumvent this if you have Nightmare Unicorn. You just want to use the Revolt before the IP Masquerena in that situation. For sure, because what you want to do is you're going to want to be able to get a search off the Omen going to grave. And then you also then have the 2 fires to do the XYZ line to nuke the opponent's field, and then you have 2 negates off of the Appaloosa. And if they do try to run over Appaloosa or IP with one of their normal summons, you can always go Revolt to banish. So pretty decent board here, but you do have the issue of a few choke points. I think one of the worst ones is always having to use the Bear Broom to discard 2. That's a really hefty cost to have to pay to get hit on. So I'm going to show you another line that you can kind of use to maybe keep more of your hand traps in line, but this requires having SP. This next line is very similar. We're just going to show how I might end on this. And the difference between this type of line is if you already have a lot of hand traps, discarding them to get like hit by an imperm or effect failure hurts a lot. So if you do have the SP, you can maybe keep a little bit more of your interactions without having less of a crazy board. So we're going to use our normal line of Fraktall into Kit, into Nerval, into search Kirin. Kirin will summon. Banish 4, same as before. Go to Omen. Let us get our search. And we get to have Ponix. We'll normal summon Ponix. Sanctuary. Sanctuary will get Island. Island will destroy Ponix to get Garunix. And it's important to remember that this all these lines right now that we're looking at for these 2 Tri-Brigade combos, where you just need the Tri-type to discard, these all play into Nibiru, so that's something to keep in mind too, because Garunix is your 5th summon here. Now you will get your Revolt, but again, not sure if that's going to be enough. And then Garunix will destroy Barong, and then from here we just go into SP. Now one thing that's nice with this line that I like is that you can actually use the SP to banish one of your Tri-Brigades in grave, so you can banish like the Kirin because you don't really need it. And that allows you, when you activate Revolt, to be able to actually take your Nerval out of the banish and still keeping 4 banish in grave if you want to search like Arvata to combo with the Kirin destruction, or different things you can do, which is kind of cool. So that's one thing I like with the SP. The banish actually isn't wasted because you can set up more banish. From here, you'll banish the Kirin, also chain the Bear Broom to search for Revolt, and that's nice because we can also chain block this, so they can't just ash it by making the SP level Knight chain link 2. It's a Revolt, we'll put back 1, and then from here, you'll still have your Revolt. You have a couple hand traps. I chose to keep the infinite permanence because it's harder to just Cosmic the Revolt now to force it out early. You also have the SP. Now one thing is they could Nibiru you here to remove the SP from the field, but you'll still have Revolt, Imperm, and Effect Veiler plus follow-up off the Revolt. So I think there's some interesting ways that this line can play, which can be nice when you already have Disruption. And that's again one thing to consider when pulling a combo off, is considering what cards you have in your hand, what do they serve. If you're just discarding engine cards that you don't really need, then maybe it's better to go greedy. But if you already have hand trap disruptions, if you discard 2 and then get hit with an Imperm or Effect Veiler, that's going to really hurt because you went 2 for 1 and you lost 2 interruptions. So just things to consider when going through the combos. So that pretty much covers all the Tri-Brigade combos that you can do. I do think out of the more budget versions for Fire King, since the Snake Eye deck is like $1,200 to $1,500, this is a pretty good version that has some nice plays that it can do, and I think it is the best out of the more budget versions between like Dogmatica and more of a pure build of just. If you like the content I've been producing either on my YouTube videos, the free guides I produce, to help learn the game, or the resource database I've been building up to especially help new players, consider becoming a patron to support the channel. Liking, subscribing, watching the YouTube videos already helps a lot, but if you're able to become a patron because it's something you're interested in, I have rewards below. You can check them out and join if you'd like. I have links on my website or on the YouTube description, which will link directly to the Patreon if you want to consider joining. All the tiers have a 7-day free trial, so you can try it out and kind of see what's up there, and if you like it and you want to continue. And if not, I totally understand, and I appreciate you checking it out.